good. We're going to start recording. New day, peace be unto you. Assalamu alaikum, hotep, ashe. I am Felicia Muhammad. Oh, and I forgot one, namaste. I am Felicia Muhammad, your spiritual life and business transformation specialist. And what I do, I specialize in helping us to get rid of or release some of the baggage that is weighing us down in love, health, and wealth. All right. And what does that baggage look like? What do I mean when I say baggage? I mean like those limiting beliefs, the negative self-talk, the traumas, all the stuff that no longer serves us. Okay, so we help you to know how to transmute and transform and let go of that baggage so that you can begin to co-create new realities for yourself. Okay, so today, welcome to Insights into You, 3-part series, and we're discussing, do you know your intuitive gifts? Okay, so today I'm going to be talking with, and we're going to have a really good conversation with Christel Hughes. She is a spiritual trainer to the stars, and she's my friend and one of my mentors. And what you can expect today from our conversation, because you're going to get involved as well, we're going to be discussing and helping you to understand what are some of your gifts, how do you run energy. We're going to be you're going to be able to ask questions. She's going to be doing some readings, and you may even get a chance to get a mini assessment to be able to know what your clairs are, to be able to know how the energy is flowing through your body, okay, and what that looks like in the world. All right, so this is excellent for all areas of your life, okay, relationships, prosperity, your business collaborations, every pillar of your life. We tend to, when you interact with myself or anybody that works with me, we tend to focus on spirit, mind, body, family, society, and finances, because it's a holistic approach. Okay, so when you're having challenges in one area, you definitely know that it affects another area. So we want you to be able to be fully present, all right, and be able to know what to do, when to do, and how to do, so that everything flows, okay? All right. So now, as we come in, yes, welcome Christel. It's her first day on Blab, Divine Feminine Reawakening. I'm going to give you some information about her and give her an opportunity to come on in the room. We're going to make her the co-host so she can come on in. And we're relaxed here, real family oriented. And like I said, you're going to get a chance to ask your questions, so you can type /Q. She's coming in to ask your question. And if you would like to join the seat and have a live experience, you can request, and we will definitely make that available for you as well. Okay. All right. So as Christel comes in, we want to welcome everybody. Welcome, Lola. Welcome to Insights into You. We're going to be interviewing Christel Hughes today, and we are going to be discussing, do you know your intuitive gifts? And helping you to understand what mask you may be wearing as it relates to different areas in your life, and being able to, being able to know how you flow energy. Okay, I'm seeing you on here, Christel, but I don't see an image of you yet. I see that you are, but I don't see your picture. I see Divine Feminine Awakening, but the screen is just dark. So give it permission to access. Oh, you may have to refresh. Okay, thank you, I choose. Okay, that's what she's getting ready to do. She's coming back out to go back in. Okay. Okay. All right, so while she's doing that, I'm going to read
Okay.
the bio. Yay! You did it, Christel!
Oh my goodness! You
Welcome!
wouldn't believe what I had to do to get up here. I had to download a whole new browser,
Really?
figure out my Twitter password.
Oh, wow. Okay, yeah, my mistake. I should have told you it was because I know we have matched and I
Yeah.
had to do it I had to download a Firefox.
Yeah.
Well, welcome, Christel. So beautiful.
Thank you. I'm very excited. I haven't done a lot of video calls, so this is really fun for me to be able to be out in a different way. I wish I could see all of your faces, but I can see your beautiful face, Felicia. So thank you so much for having me here. Very exciting.
Thank you. And we will be able to see, for those that have the courage, that want to take 2 seats when we get ready to do the question and answer, we will be able to see them on the screen, okay? All right, so when we get ready to do our question and answer and do the readings and all of that, for those who have the courage that's in the room, you can join us.
Yeah.
So this is exciting. Welcome, welcome, Christel. So I'm going to read your bio so we can get started, okay? All right, so Christel Hughes, she is an inspiring holistic life coach known as spiritual trainer to the stars, specializing in self-development and transformation. And I have to say, I have been a fan of Christel's for the last 4 years. And when I first looked at her website, at the time, it was the same format that we had on our website. So I knew that was the synchronicity then. And I was like, oh, yes, this is it. This is it. Okay, so let me stay focused. All right. She specializes in self-development and transformation for individuals throughout the country. Christel facilitates seminars on the power of the mind to manifest, conquering fears, relationship strategies. She's passionate and soulful and motivates people every day to discover their purpose work. And I just have to say that Christel she gives over and beyond. And that's what I love about Miss Christel Hughes, because she just pours in you and she supports you, you know. Let's see here. So she's a certified clinical hypnotherapist, neurolinguistic programming master practitioner, timeline therapy practitioner, multi-sensory intuitive, certified therapeutic imagery master, holistic life coach. So you're going to get a chance to hear a little bit how Christel started on her journey. And when you hear the stories, you'll be like, oh yeah, she's a sister girl. I can relate to her. Or fellas, you'll be able to say, oh yeah, I can imagine and I can relate to what she experienced, whether you can fully embody it or not, but you can relate to it, you know. So, Christel, welcome, welcome, welcome. Insights into you. Do you know your intuitive gifts? 3-part teleseries. Woohoo! And first time on Blab.
Timer. You know, this is going to be a lot of fun. But, you know, I want to say, really, thank you so much for allowing me to be present here. I mean, this is very exciting for all of us because the timing, the energies that are truly coming in and popping us open, and we need to navigate all that is happening within our being. So I want to share a little bit about the energy flow and what that actually means, and what do I mean when I talk about intuition, and a little bit deeper into the subject, because so many people can throw that word around, intuition, and say, oh, I'm intuitive. Well, we all are intuitive, but when we really get on this journey to go deeper into discovering the truth of who we are, like, why does the universe want to flow energy through you? What are you going to do with that energy? How are you going to express that energy? These are the types of questions that we want to answer for you.
Good, yes. And we want to talk about also Like you said, what does that mean, and how does it run through your body, and what are some of their clairs in this whole 3-part series that we're going to be doing? So you want to make sure you follow us, guys, because we have a lot to
Yeah, this
share
is
with you.
exciting. So I'm seeing different things on the screen pop up. So I don't know, exactly what I'm responsible for looking at, but it's pretty cool.
So let's give you a run through on the recording. It's okay, because we keep it real, very transparent. Okay. And this is your first one, so welcome, welcome, welcome. And for those that are new on Blab, let me just review. Okay, so to the right, and what I'll do is I'm going to pause the recording. All right, so let's get started. Thank you, Christel. So tell us a little bit about how all this started happening for you.
Yeah, it was kind of wild and crazy in the beginning because I was hit with, this whole dormancy cycle. Maybe some of you can really resonate with this, relate to this, because, you're going along your life and you're thinking, okay, I'm just doing what I need to be doing and maybe just living out day by day. And then suddenly something happens. There's some kind of loss, or, you get hit with something physically, and it turns you down a different path. And that's what happened to me. My turning point was actually a divorce from my husband. And, I had stuck in there. I did whatever I could do. I was very loyal. But unfortunately, his drug addiction that came from a back injury had me feeling very, very low with my self-esteem. My confidence was down. I didn't know who I was, but yet I was pouring myself out into his business. And I was living this life that really didn't even include any of my needs. So I had to, in that moment of life, I had to make a very powerful choice. Was I going to continue losing myself until I just didn't exist and I was totally numb? Or was I going to really take back my power? And at that moment, it was the choice of taking back my power, because I knew that there was something within me that was driving me. I had a strength. I had something that was so strong to move forward, to keep going. And fortunately, with that, I was able to remove myself from that situation and then to, begin down my path of discovering who I was. And, so in that moment with the divine, it was just, this moment of truth where I just said to the divine, I need support. I need help, and I need to know who I am. And that started the path. So there's been many, many synchronicities, but I ended up at the Behavioral Science Center in Los Angeles area. And from that moment on, in studying hypnosis and the states of consciousness and how the mind works, I knew that I was at home. But I was afraid. I was afraid of public speaking. Like before, I wouldn't have been able to do this. I wouldn't want anyone to see me. I wouldn't want them to hear my voice. I was very insecure in that way. And the director of the school said, that he wanted to hire me on, and he wanted me to go out and to share, go to colleges and to share about what the college was about. And I said, oh no. There's no way you're getting me out there in front of people. And he said, yes, we are. And I said, well, I don't think so. And so I was taken over by that fear, which many of you, I'm sure there's some nudge that your higher self is giving you, and you're kind of in that inner battle. I was in that inner battle. But again, I always overcame that fear. And when I went down that path of using hypnotherapy to clear and release that fear of public speaking, I started having people arrive in my life that were telling me that I had the ability to see and to know. And this one event that I was doing, this girl said, you have the ability to look into my third eye and you have a message for me. And I really was like, what are you talking about? There's no way that I know what I'm doing and that I can read your third eye. And she says, yes, you can. So long story short, amongst a lot of people, I was there. This whole festival was going on. And I closed my eyes and I put my hands over her third eye. So here I am, eyes closed, and all of a sudden I see this dove flying around her head with an olive branch in its mouth. And then I heard this loud voice. And with hearing this loud voice, even though there was hundreds of people around me, hearing this loud voice, it said, you are going to create a program that brings peace to your community. And when I pulled my hands back and I was still seeing that dove flying around her face and head, I knew that some shift had happened. And in that moment, I was able to be clairvoyant, clairaudient, clairsentient, and clairgnostic. I had bumps, chill bumps all over my body. And my heart was beating, and I could feel the essence of what was coming through as a message. And when I shared that to her, she said, yeah, I'm actually creating a program for the community, and I'd love for you to come and be one of the healers there. And that's how I got my start, because I could just put my hands on someone's chakra and I could download so much information about what they were going through. And so I started there, and people were lining up out the door, and the woman came over to me and she says, this isn't the way it's supposed to be. They're not all supposed to come for you. There's 6 other healers here, and we need them to, be willing to work with everyone else. But the word had gotten out. And, I was at one of those places where I was in such denial as to the power of that. But since then, I've had confirmations. And the universe has made sure that I had confirmations. I'm a medium as well. So I was doing this session with this guy, and he said, I miss my father so much. And he said, we had such a close connection. Well, immediately his father came in. And I said, what I'm seeing is I'm actually seeing a star with this image next to it, but I can't really make out the image. And I said, now I'm seeing a star, which is up high, and then I'm seeing you, the back of you, at, I don't know what you're doing. You're praying or you're doing something. And he said, I want to take you to my house after this. Now, this was a close friend of a friend. So I said, okay. And he goes, no, you really have to see this. So I walk into his living room, and he says, take a seat right here on the couch. So I'm sitting on the couch, and he goes through this kind of hallway into the next room where I can see his back at his altar, praying, his prayer altar. And he goes, now look up. When I looked up, I saw the star up above and his back. It was the exact scene that I was describing. That was at his home. Then he decides to go, have me go look inside his little altar that he has for his father. And guess what's sitting on the altar? His father's military ID, which has a star and his father's picture. So that was confirmation for me over and over again, where people were saying, oh my God, you're spot on, this is true, this is real. And my left brain was tweaked, and you'll find that. Like, your left brain will be tweaked. It'll be like, how in the world would I know that? How does this happen? And that's what I started doing. I started researching how intuition actually occurs, how it flows through the energetic system, the aura, the chakras, the meridians of your body, and what causes that flow to be in a slower kind of dripped out, or if it is consistently flowing. And so that's what I do now. I actually have Academy for the Soul, and Academy for the Soul is an online school of intuitive arts We work with intuitive artists. They don't know they're intuitive artists, but they actually are. We get them at the place where they're saying, you know, maybe I have intuitive gifts, but I'm not quite sure, to all the way to understanding what their unique special offering is and how they do their intuitive readings and what to look for. And it's important, because when you really find out who you are, of course, then all you have to do, you've got something to focus on. Then you just have to get the blocks out of the way.
Right. That's a lot. Oh my God. So I wrote down some really good nuggets. So what comes up first as I'm tuning in to everyone that's listening now and to the replay, when you said about your left brain will tweak, because all of us as humans, this fleshly form, and from my experience, even just dealing with myself, it's like you have that war that happens with, okay, did that, like you said, did that really happen? Oh my God, what was that about?
Yeah.
So being able to help bring some clarity and actually more or less get the two in sync with each other and working together, that's the objective, so that we begin to live as our higher self or our God self, or however some people refer to it, but always operating as that divine guided person happening right now, you know, and always aware.
Even in the languaging, it's difficult to put the languaging in to practice, because what's happening is you are embodying the vibrational frequency and the consciousness of your higher self. Your higher self consciousness is one with the divine. It has to kind of funnel down into your body in order to be used. And when it funnels down into your body to be used, that's you living as the higher self when you have the full embodiment. So I can read someone and see what their flow is like, and whether it's trickling in or whether it's consistent flow. I can also see how far down the higher self consciousness has embodied. What I have found is that there are cycles that one goes through. And what we're looking at is the cycle first starts with the dormancy cycle. And that's what I was talking about. With my whole turning point, I was at that level of dormancy and I needed to go into growth, the growth cycle. And what we're looking at for me in my situation was my growth cycle was, one, making that powerful choice. And two, being consistent with moving beyond the fears, beyond the left brain trying to talk me out of it because, ooh, it's scary, it's unknown, I'm not sure about it. And then we go into the acceptance cycle. So, of course, like I said, I had to have kind of like this, you know, ego smackdown 2x4 come, you know, and hit me in the head. But fortunately for me, the universe made it very easy and simple for me, because I was getting that consistent feedback because I was willing to put myself out there consistently.
Okay.
So when you're willing to put yourself out there consistently and do the work behind the scenes, I mean, I was putting in not just hours in doing, you know, practicing being and connecting. I was putting in weeks and weeks and weeks. I had that whole year where once I was told and I understood what a clairvoyant was and that I was a channel for that light, I was putting in a lot of time and energy just being with myself and the divine and being in nature. Most people, you know, they don't understand it takes a lot of time in order to connect in fully. Once you learn how to connect into your heart in the right way, it doesn't take long at all. But I didn't know this. So now this is what I teach.
So how do you do this, Christel, when you have to be the husband and the wife in the family, you have to work, and you in survival mode. How do you do that?
Yes, so one of the things that you do is, one, you have to learn to get into the sacred space of the heart and actually live from there. You know how we are walking around and we're up here. We're not down here. So what happens is everything that comes down our path, think about it's meeting us. The universe is bringing it to meet us. It's coming towards us and then we meet it. Are you going to meet situations coming from your head, or do you want to meet the situation coming from your heart? If you meet the situation coming from your heart, you're way ahead of everybody else. And you're way ahead of all your personas that are based on strategy for survival. All those aspects that are afraid, that's not you. That is not you as your higher self. So what we're looking to do is have you understand how to, one, connect into that heart space. And you've got to look through the eyes of your heart. You've got to imagine you're down here. You're inside your body. You're not up and out and towards the future and trying to lean in and know what the future is. You're waiting for the things to meet you on your path. And when you're present, you can understand, ooh, this is a divine meeting. Something's going on here. You can feel it, like you might have chill bumps. You know, you can feel that something's occurring. How am I going to respond and react? So first thing is you've got to be in a state of stability, connected into the heart, and then imagine that you've got these windows from your heart, and your eyes are looking out those windows all the time. When you look at someone, you're going to be looking at them with the eyes of your heart. Not your head, not your personas, not the aspects that try to take you out.
Okay. All right. So Lola asked a question.
Okay.
But if someone is an atheist, that wouldn't be working. Conditional to faith.
No, it's not. Because you have to be loyal to you. I'm talking about you as your higher self. Whether you believe in God, if you believe in infinite intelligence, there's some heartbeat or pulse that's going on all the time in the universe to keep it ticking, right? There's some energy behind the ticking, 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 whatever you believe that to be. You can call it God, or you can call it infinite intelligence, or you can call it whatever name you choose. But the version of you that keeps you ticking, that keeps your heart beating, whatever you call that, what we want to do is we want to get that energy fully embodied in you so that there is no separation, so that you really are acting out from that place. And what happens is when you've embodied that energy, you literally start to already expand in your level of conscious awareness. You're going to have premonitions. You're going to start to know things and feel things at a level in which clarity is just commonplace for you. You'll be able to use your power, because there is a power to creation. There is a power to manifesting. You will be able to live in your higher self and have such a level of devotion. We're not talking about devotion necessarily to what you might see as God as a man in the sky. Although if that's what your version is, that's fine. But first we have to have you with a level of devotion to your own supreme being self that is the actualization of the consciousness flowing through your body.
Yes, I love it. Okay. Oh my God, I love it. Oh, I'm so excited. Okay, so Lola, are you Christel, you want to do some readings? Because I know this is fun for you.
What?
Okay, all right. Absolutely. So Lola, you want to come on the seat, sweetie? You ready? All right, she ready. Let's do this. Come on, Lola.
Cool, I'm watching.
Yes. Oh, okay, so she'll be able to share this when she comes on, but that is cognitive learning. This is often clouded by trauma and education. Okay. We're welcoming you, Lola. We see your spot, but you haven't come in yet. Okay, Lola, you may want to refresh because I see that you're in, but I don't see your image yet. You're not, feed is not coming through. Excuse me. Okay, and anyone else that would like to have an experience with Miss Christel Hughes based off of what she's been sharing, and any questions?
I'd love to do some questions, or even the mini intuitive assessment.
Yes, so
even though we have
yes,
about it. Yes.
If you would love to have a mini assessment, you can join us in the seat or even put your request in the chat.
Did you get the questions that I sent you, Felicia?
Hold on one second. Let me pull it up. Okay, so in the meantime, where did you send them, Crystal?
I sent them on your Facebook message.
Okay, cool. I'll go there and check it. In the meantime, Crystal, the other question that I wanted to understand on is the different clairs, because you're multi-sensory intuitive. Can you just give us a review of the different clairs?
Yeah, absolutely. So clairvoyant really is the ability to have a heightened sense of awareness around seeing. But there's different ways of seeing. So sometimes people get confused. They think that seeing actually means that you are going to see something very tangible, right? Just like I'm seeing this cup, right? But it's not always like that. Sometimes it can be a flash where you're seeing something occur. Sometimes it can be that you can see what might take place for someone, right? Oh, I'm seeing you do this, okay? So if you're seeing them do this, or I see that, you know, I see that you're probably going to go down this path. That's a seeing. It's a seeing and a knowing. And many times it's not isolated. It's not just, ooh, I have this ability to be clairvoyant and to see. Sometimes you're going to get a vision on a screen. You'll literally have a film screen and you'll see a vision. Sometimes to see, your higher self is going to pull up a memory that you can relate to, okay? So that can be seeing as well. But most of the time people say, well, I'm not seeing anything, but I'm seeing a memory. And it's like, well, you just said you're not seeing anything, but then you're seeing a memory. Yes, when you see a memory, that is your higher self bringing that memory up to your consciousness. And that memory that you are seeing, that's your clairvoyance working for you. And then you need to be able to ask questions to go deeper. So that's the clairvoyant. Clairgnostic ability comes through the crown chakra. It's a flow of energy coming through that crown chakra, and it's that sense of either a flowing energy coming over you or a hit. Okay. Did you have a question?
Yes. I want to know if you can read auras.
Yeah.
All right. Phoenix, do you want your aura read? Phoenix Tears 321. Would you like your auras read? Put it.
Is there a specific question about?
Oh, he says not sure. Is there a specific question about the aura, Phoenix Tears? Oh, you just wanted to know. Okay. All right. Very good.
Am I scaring people out there? Like...
Okay, so you can't. Okay, all right. Okay. So Lola, when you're ready, you can come back in. Were you going to continue with some of the clairs, Crystal? Because we do have a few questions. Okay.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, whichever. So clairsentience is the feeling. Clairsentience is the vibration usually in the power center, so the third chakra. And what we'll get with that vibration, that knowing, that's about picking up energies and feeling the energies. And sometimes with that knowing of how we're feeling, we'll have a contraction or we'll have an expansion. Usually if something is wanting to be known, so let's say that you want to know about the truth of a situation, you can run the energy through the body and you'll have a contraction if it's non-truth, and you'll have an expansion if it is truth. But you have to calibrate that with yourself in your own body. Okay? And then so that's clairvoyant, clairaudient, clairsentient. And, or no, clairvoyant, clairgnostic, and clairsentient. So what we're looking at now is clairaudient. Clairaudient comes through ear chakras, and it comes through your throat chakra, okay? So in the ways of hearing something, you will actually get a voice that comes through. Now, what you have to do is you have to be witness observer to whether that voice has a vibrational frequency of a persona, an aspect that's a humanistic aspect attached to the mind, attached to a belief, or whether it is your higher self-consciousness. And that's what I teach. I teach people how to distinguish that difference. You have to be really good at being witness observer in order to know, hey, that's some aspect of me running off of that primal mind that is trying to convince me. It's running from fight, flight, freeze. It's, you know, that primal mind. And you have to be able to have the power and the strength and also the wisdom to say, oh no, I'm not going to let that take me out. I, as the higher self, am going to now deal with this energy. Now what am I hearing? Okay, and bringing it through.
Okay. All right, there we go.
Okay,
yes. Okay, so we're going to, and let me just say, just so everybody know, if you are running, Blab runs best on Firefox, Mozilla, or Google Chrome. If you have Safari, it's not going to work well for you. Okay, so it runs best on Chrome or Mozilla. Okay, so Aaron, welcome, Aaron Hendrickson. What is your question for Christel?
The question is, how accurate are your readings you normally do?
How accurate are my readings? Well, I think I've given a couple of examples that, you know, display that already. So I'm known to have my readings be 98 to 100% accurate consistently.
Would you like one, Aaron? Would you like a reading?
Yes, I would.
And do you have a specific question?
Yes. What am I gonna be doing? Gonna be doing for the next couple of years, being back on my own.
How are you going to be doing? I couldn't hear that first part. So I'll do a reading. I'll tune in, okay? So one of the things that I'm seeing for you is that I'm seeing that there's adjustments that have to be made, and with these adjustments, you will have a little bit of inner turmoil, but what's going to take over is actually going to be a drive for you to succeed. And it's more of succeeding in the way that you are going to be expressing who you are rather than trying to prove something, okay? So it is heart-driven. And in this experience, it's like a journey going forward. It's almost like a little mini hero's journey. What I see is I see more people coming into your life, more connections being made for you, okay? So one of the things is that you've got to clear any doubt that you have, all right? There is an aspect that I'm seeing that's coming out that looks like it came around the age of maybe 3 or 4 that started having a little bit of doubt with self, okay? So one, I want you to work with that. But the other thing that's coming out is something that has to do with music, or do you do something with music at all?
I did play in the band in high school.
Okay, so let's bring the music back out, all right? The music really enlivens your heart, so just, you know, doing it in high school, but I want you to bring that back out, okay? Because there is this energy that comes through your body when you're playing music, or even when you're listening to music, but when you're a part of it, you become that channel for that vibration, okay? Also, if I can go into your special gifts, one of the special gifts for you is actually being able to transmit, and maybe that's why the universe wants you to be able to play that music, or have you play that music, because you transmit a vibrational frequency. You're really good. Like, I use the golden grid, which is really a structure for the divine. And you can get on the golden grid, just, you know, imagining that coming through your body, but imagine that that reaches out to people all across the globe. And the way that I know that you're supposed to reach people with this frequency across the globe is that I'm actually seeing a star coming up out of the crown chakra for you. And that star is an indication that you're supposed to have global reach, okay? So that's what I'm seeing for you.
Okay. And I am getting those connections made now with other people. People are seeing how I am from the way I am is why they like being around me.
Okay, great. Yeah, beautiful. Thank you so much. Good question.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Okay, wait a minute. Okay, there we go. Now you can hear me. All right. Thank you, Aaron. Yes, Lola, I did authorize you. We see you up, but we don't see your image. So next question we have, Christel, is, hi, Christel. What fun. I would love to know more about my beloved. Where is he now? And if there's anything I am to complete on to magnetize him in. Thanks so much. Love and happy holidays. Kristen from Santa Monica.
Okay, so Kristen, I'm going to tune in with your higher self right now. And I'm going to put you on the grid because this is how I see the soulmate or other energies coming in and around. So what I'm seeing right now is I'm seeing him behind you. And I see him about 2 spaces behind you. One of the things, though, is that I'm getting this kind of flip-flop back and forth. So you are deliberating within yourself, not about love or whether you want to be in relationship or not, but you're deliberating within yourself about your own power, your own ability to make something happen or to complete on something, okay? So you've got these 2 sides that are playing you. And what's happening is with these 2 sides, it actually causes there to be a gap. And you're not able to fully just be present in your heart. You're still concerned, okay? You're concerned about something. You're concerned about completion, all right? So what I would do is I would say for you, do an integration and pull out both of these sides of you and start to clear the emotional energy around that, heal them up, and then bring them back in, okay? But it looks like once you get that completion and once you integrate, it's looking like maybe the energy with him is going to come in and solidify. So the connection will solidify once you do that. But that's really, the universe is almost waiting for you to come into that unification first.
Thank you. Welcome, Phoenix Tears. So glad you can join us.
Hi.
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 What is your question?
I don't really know. I guess I have so much stuff, and I'm sure you can probably feel everything that I have going on. I have so much stuff going on in my life right now. And I guess I just kind of want to a general reading because I have so much negativity that is going on.
Well, let me just say this. So one of the things your higher self is saying is that you actually are an empath. And with your empathic ability, you actually can get involved or overly involved in energies, emotional energies, energies of an environment, and you take that on and you really sponge that up and you hold that. So one of the things you've got to do is you've got to get that wounded empath, that one that just feels so heavy based on what's going on and the negativity of people. One of the first things that I want you to do is I want you to imagine that that empath is outside of you and that you're going to actually work to clear her emotional energy. And the first thing that you're going to do is you are going to send all of the energy that you have carried for other people, you're going to send it back to them, okay? And this is something where you cannot process out another person's energy or the negativity of a space. But yet what's happening is you can't process it, but there's not enough strength in you to actually hold that energy back because the habit is for you to pull it in.
Right.
But what your higher self is saying is that when we get that wounded empath cleared, and when we get you to the place where you are strong enough, right,
Oh God. Sorry. Feedback.
You're strong enough to actually hold that energy back. Your boundaries are going to be solidified. From that point, now we get to see you, okay? And what your higher self is telling me is that you are actually very connected to the elementals. You're connected to nature spirits. You're connected to the fairies and the devas and the sprites and the nymphs and all of those. You're meant to actually be in that realm, and the lightness of your being is yearning to reconnect with that realm, nature's consciousness. So we've got to have you not inside, we've got to have you outside. You've got to be outside, feel the leaves, you know, really pay attention, be tactile with it. You know, feel the tree bark, really connect in a different way than what you would normally do. Don't just be out in nature, just kind of walking. Really start to look and look in between spaces and really start to feel that energy, because that will bring you back to your heart and back to who you are despite whatever is going on with you. Okay?
Well, I haven't been outside in years. I have been in my house.
There we go. Okay. So those are the first steps for you, okay? Because you have that ability. You're really a light kind of fluttering being, and you're meant to be light, okay? So let's have you come back to you.
Yeah.
Yay!
Yeah.
Thanks.
I need to.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I mean, the truth is that your abilities are that you can connect with those devas, and the devas are really the ones that really support the planet and bringing creation. So, you know, and the ability to work with the fairies, I mean, this really is keeping us going. And, you know, the ability to do those kinds of readings as well.
Right. And I used to be really, really good at it, really intuitive. And then what happened was, as you were talking about, you know, there's something in life that always kind of stops you or, you know, holds you back. And mine was a medical problem. And it stopped me, and it stopped me good.
Let's get you going again. I've had many medical things. I was down and out and couldn't move.
That's
you know.
I had to actually travel from Georgia to UCLA to have surgery.
Yeah.
And I need to go again.
Yeah.
Let's get you out. Let's get you out in nature.
Yeah.
I want you to lay on the ground. I don't care how cold it is. Put a big coat on and go out there, and I want you to touch the soil and touch, you know, I want you to be in it.
See, I
okay?
love my husband. I love unicorns. I love fairies. I grew up loving it, okay? You know, I always told my husband I have something with him.
Yes. Thank you so much, Phoenix.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
You have a wonderful holiday.
You too.
Thank you so much.
You too. Okay, so the next question we have, Christel, is I would love to know what my higher self has to say about my ability to help people cross over, and if I am to be using that gift more than I am right now. Or if you prefer, you can just let me know what my higher self has for me today. Love, Deb.
Okay, so let's just check to see about helping people cross over. So let me just tune in to Deb, and I just want to see this, and I want to scan if that's for the highest good, okay? So we just want to know the truth for the highest good. I'm just going to scan right now and calibrate this. What percentage is true that she's supposed to help? What was it specifically? Crossover?
Yeah, people cross over.
Okay, crossover. So that's only coming in at about 70 to 75%, okay? That's not what's supposed to be going on right now. Maybe that's going to come in the future. I'm kind of getting this, you know, with the higher self, almost like a thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs up, thumbs down. So it's not quite the right timing is what I'm feeling, and really sensing that. So what your higher self is saying is, one of the things we want to work on is with the power center. There's actually some energy in the power center that hasn't even come out yet. okay? This energy that's going to come out is going to almost feel like, you know, another addition of your aura has been, you know, added on. It's almost like, boom, it kind of pops out, or like another addition has been added on. And what this is going to be another download of your abilities, okay? There's going to be a strength and a confidence that's going to come through where you're not going to have any doubt at all, but it's going to be more on the reading side. Okay, so you're going to be doing more readings. Those readings are going to become more accurate and clear. And the amount of people that you're going to touch is going to expand. Okay, so that's going to happen, and it feels like it's going to happen probably within the next 3 to 6 months. All right?
Okay, good. All right, welcome, Lola. You made it in. Woohoo!
Can you hear me because my headphones don't work anymore? I don't know why. Can you hear me good? Hello?
Did you have a question?
Yeah. Okay, don't tell me. Wait, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you. Yes.
Okay, so here's my question. What can you read when you look at me?
What do I see? Like doing a reading? Okay, so let me just tune in with your higher self. So one of the things that I see is that you actually have energy, a lot of energy coming out of the third eye. And one of these things is that you are ahead of most people with your ability to see things or know things. And so what we would say is that that archetype is coming in. You work with Archangel Metatron a lot. And the energy that comes in is for that ability to recognize what way people are going to be trending towards or what way they're going to be going towards. And this is all about consciousness, okay?
I would not expect you to say that.
So with this, the trending or the ability to understand or to know how to guide and lead people. And the reason is because one of your greater purposes is for being able to understand things and then to give back to the people what has been understood. So it's almost relaying a message. You get the information, then you relay the message to other people. And this is all to build up consciousness, okay? So this is to raise vibrational consciousness and awareness, but you work with Archangel Metatron and you work on kind of the forefront and being able to bring that information in. The blockage you have is actually a blockage in the back throat chakra. And one of the things that you do is that you have a persona that's willing to kind of be out there in the front, but it hides the true you behind that, okay? So there's a voice behind it, which is the one that I was talking about, which is willing to be at the forefront, willing to actually express and communicate. So you have to watch out because you have an aspect that comes forward, but it's an aspect. And what I'd like you to do is integrate that aspect, work with that aspect, and dissolve the energy that thinks it's keeping you somehow protected or safe, and to be able to integrate that and then bring your whole self forward, okay?
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and I have another question regarding what you say about me is, how do you do, because that's true, I always relay the message. Do you understand my accent?
Well, I didn't understand what you just said, but I'm pretty good with that.
Okay, so
Say that last part again. Slow down.
I always relay the message. I'm always forward. But how do you do not to get the wrath of the message? Because because sometimes when you say the truth to people, even if they accept it, there is resentment.
Well, this is what I was telling you. You have an aspect that comes forward that's not the true you. It's almost trying to push or trying to think it has to deal with them already rejecting a part of it. So if you clear that, then what you're going to do is you've got to tune in, especially because you're a messenger. You have to tune in and you have to ask, one, is this the right person I'm supposed to be giving the message to? Am I supposed to deliver that message? Am I supposed to deliver that message right now? the best way to deal with what you're talking about is to let somebody know. If you already ask those questions and you get, yes, I'm supposed to deliver this message right now to this person in this moment, you have to then let them know, I'm getting something, and I'm also getting that I'm supposed to share this, but I want you to have the option. Do you really want me to share what's about to come through right now? Because if you do it anyway, despite, and if you don't ask, then you're building karma up. And truthfully, it's an invasion on them, because maybe they don't want to know that right now. And guess what? People have choices.
But yeah, but sometimes is you have to deliver the message because they are so close in the blindness. They don't.
No. That's your aspect.
And I feel like I need to shake them and wake them up.
No, but it's not. It may not be the time. See, when you get a message and you bring that message into the space, even if you don't say it, the message is in the space, their consciousness can pick it up. But see, humans think they have to say whatever comes in. And then some people are so on the other side that they just don't say anything at all. But we don't want to be closed down, and we don't want to be so open that we're just delivering things because they came through. So your responsibility to yourself and to society and to others being in a community is that you have to get rid of the aspect that wants to just take it upon herself to deliver the message without including the divine and asking. So clear that aspect and then start asking. And in that asking, people are going to then be more prepared to receive what you said. Otherwise, it's intrusive. They're going to just reject it anyway. And then you'll have conflict, and you'll be building up some karmic energy between that person. Okay?
Thank you, Lola.
All right.
Thank you. Yeah. All right, we have another question from Kathy. What do you sense for my employment, and what are you seeing as my talents and gifts now to improve upon that I may not see right now?
Okay, so you are a writer, communicator, expressionist. The archetypes that are coming through are that way, but you are a vertical channel. And when we do the intuitive assessment, we look at whether you're vertical or horizontal. Verticals download information internally. They don't necessarily need to be outwardly expressive, outgoing, but they need to have somebody that can take their message out to the world. So you are primarily a vertical. The information is supposed to come down through you like a channel. You're supposed to write it down or speak it out. You could do audios or you could do videos. But see, when you're doing the videos, you're just you in your home with your computer, right? So you're still being a vertical in that way. And then you might have someone, take that, sell that product and get that out to the world. Or write a book and have that book be taken out into the world. So you're supposed to be more internal. You bring that information in. You actually are an intuitive. Your higher self is telling me that you have the ability, and your ability is clairgnostic, so it's the knowing and the hearing, clairaudient, okay? So you're in the knowing about things, and you hear information. You speak it to yourself, but what you're supposed to be doing is writing it down, okay? And then you're going to get more guidance as to how to get that out. It may be that you're going to be on a telesummit or that you're going to be on some other platform, okay? But that's really what I'm seeing for you.
So, Christel, tell us how we can move forward with you to know more with the intuitive assessment. Tell us a little bit what that entails.
Well, you can actually, you can get either a private intuitive assessment, or you can get a small group intuitive assessment. And when we look at the intuitive assessment, we go in and we check to see how your masculine and feminine balance is. We check to see the way that you flow through the clairs. And that's you know, that's important because sometimes people will jump right to the clairgnostic and they don't pay attention to, like I said, the clairvoyance or the clairaudience. They bypass that, thinking that they're not getting anything or they're not seeing anything, but actually they are. So it's important to know, because all of the pieces of information come through the chakras and come through as the clairs, and that is like pieces to your puzzle. And so many people don't really pay attention to more than one clair. They get confident with one, or they just are in the knowing, or they feel more confident in the feeling. But you've got to have your other clairs chime in and to bring more information to you so you get your whole puzzle, okay? And so small group, which is going to be 3 people, 30 minutes for each person. Those are fascinating because you get to listen in to other people's readings, which I think are really cool. But if you want to have just a private session, that's a 30-minute session with me. We also go into the special gifts. So we go into the angels that you work with. We go into animal communication or communication with, let's say, the beings of love and light and power and service, being able to read Akashic records, being able to work with ascended masters. You know, you're going to get all that information in there. You're also going to understand how you are supposed to present your intuition to the world, how to interact, like I said, with vertical or horizontal. And then we look at your aura. We see how your energy is positioned in your body. I mean, there's a lot of things that are in this intuitive assessment, and so you get to choose. One of the ways that you can do it is just by coming into a seminar. We have Awaken to Your Higher Self, which is the way to get into Academy for the Soul. And Awaken to Your Higher Self is really about discovering the cycle that you are in right now and what phase you're in, where you're going. And we start to work with the centers inside the body, the reservoirs, because guess what? In order to be an intuitive and to bring the energy of light through your body, you have to have the reservoirs within your body already filled. You have to have energy in order to work with more energy. So I teach you how to fill up the body in those specific centers in your body in order to bring that information down and into your body. We also work with the aspect of the child when you were younger. You know, what did you first start to create as a persona, thinking that you had to be something? You know, whether that was to balance dysfunction in a family, whether you had to be the good girl or, you know, scapegoat, or, you know, we work with clearing that out of the way so that you can be open to receive. So that's a program, Awaken to Your Higher Self. And Felicia, we can get that special offer page for people. Also, the intuitive assessment can come with that. You can add that on to that program.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. I know we are winding up. Did you want to take a few more questions?
Let's just zip through some questions.
Okay, let's see. Kathy wanted to say thank you. She appreciated the information. She said, I've not heard of clairgnostic before, but I have been told that I have my angels talk to me, and I do listen. I thought I was going crazy because I heard them in my voice. I have also had my vernacular A that I know. Okay, I don't understand that one. Okay, but she said I have just engaged in being a co-author for a book.
Oh my God! Bravo!
Yeah.
Look at
Yeah, so that just validates the question we had earlier about the accuracy that you have. So that just supports, you know, what you've been told from others about your accuracy. Okay.
Believe me, I still get surprised because, you know, it's just information coming through. But I love to hear that it just encourages you to continue. Yeah. You're down the right path. Yeah, for sure. You're going down the right path.
Okay, so we have another question. Hello, Christel. What does my higher self want to tell me about what I still need to heal to have a successful embryo transfer and pregnancy? Thank you very much. Many blessings. Carolina, Victoria Gonzalez, Van Uchot.
Okay, let me just see here. All right, tuning into your higher self. All right, so what we're looking at now is this is an area that's really tender. It's an area, the area that I'm seeing is in your body, and it's at the lower part of your heart. And I feel this woundedness. I feel this nature of this wounded energy. It actually feels like the size of a baby. So let me just check to see if this is actually a past life coming through. So this is a past life coming through, and looking at this, there must have been some kind of issue with the child at that time in that past life. So it's, let me see how many, 14. So yeah, 14 past lives ago. And I'm seeing this child sitting there, and I'm feeling in that moment that you must have had some kind of, what is it called when you feel disconnected from your child after you give birth? Do you know what that is?
That's the what is it, postpartum?
Yeah, depression, right? Okay, so thank you for that. So that feeling and that tenderness and that woundedness, because you're wanting to love and you're wanting to bring this loving expression, and in your mind you had a whole different reality that had played out, that you thought that you were going to feel so connected, you were going to have your child, and yet that's not what was playing out. So in your mind, it's almost as if you made this vow, and I don't know if you made it to the divine or to yourself or to the child, but you did make this vow that you weren't going to put yourself or another child in that position again, because the child deserved to have your love, okay? So what you've got to do is you've got to go back on the timeline, and you've got to clean this up. And I want you to bring compassion to yourself in that lifetime, okay? Really bring a sense of compassion and forgiveness. And the reason why that happened in that lifetime was actually an experience through your genealogical line. So I don't want to get too confusing, but in that lifetime, you had a genealogical issue, karmic issue, and that's why it actually showed up in the first place. So my suggestion is clean the timeline, and then when you're in that timeline, clear the genealogical issue that caused the karma in the first place, okay?
Okay. All right. Very good. So, Christel, I have a question for me.
Okay.
Because, you know, my uncle just passed away, and I was calling on him. I was calling for him. I was asking permission, can I talk to him? You know, what did you want to tell me? And so is there anything that he wanted to communicate with me, or am I able to do that right now with him?
Well, you know, you want to give spirits a little bit of time after they've crossed over. Sometimes if you call on them, you're keeping their energy down, you know, connected. Okay. And you want to just, it's best to just pray for them, or if you believe in sitting, you know, vigil, or if you believe in chanting for them, whatever you believe in, you want to do that. And, you know, what I usually suggest is in about a month to 2 months, that's the time when you can go to a medium or you can start connecting. And let me just check to see your mediumship gate right now. Your mediumship gate is halfway open right now. So what you would do is you could invite him to come to your mediumship gate. And then at that point, you can have your guide tell you that he's there, and you can start communicating with him. But my suggestion would be is to wait about a month to 2 months, and you'll probably start to feel or remember a time that you were with him, and that's kind of your cue to connect that way.
Okay, good. Well, that's all the questions we have right now. This has been so much fun for series number 1. So for everyone that's listening and listening to the replay, I did put in the chat box where you can sign up for parts 2 and 3 that we have coming forward. You can register to get the information so you'll be alerted when we're doing this again in another week. That's a clue. Kathy Grains, I do have a question for me. Future employment. Kathy Grains, future employment. She has a question.
Okay, so let's just check to see here. I'm going to tune in with your higher self. So what I'm seeing for you is I actually see you doing something. You're doing something with your hands. So it feels like it's a temporary gig. It's like a bridge job or something before you actually crack open. Your heart's going to crack open. You've got a little bit of resistance in you right now. I'd love to know what that resistance is. Is it resistance to putting yourself out there in a bigger way? What is this resistance that you have? Because your higher self is saying you're going to crack open another level and get over this. Does she say what her resistance is?
No, she hasn't just yet. Okay,
so if you can put that in, I'd really like to know that, because what I see is that with this bridge job, it's going to be in a situation in which you're not going to be really invested in it. You know, you don't want to necessarily do it, but you're doing it right now to generate. But what's going to happen is there's going to be a breakthrough from your heart. And once that occurs, there's a new level of acceptance. And that's when the energy can start flowing through you, and you are going to have a greater circle of influence. Okay?
Okay. All right, so what she's saying is, so I am currently working in home health care and studying to be a coach. And she says, I'm a massage therapist and doing body work with tuning forks and essential oils. So Kathy, what is the resistance? That's the question. What is the resistance? While you give us that answer, Kathy, Genevieve would like to know, is she on the right career path?
Okay, so let me just check to see. So I'm going to switch gears here. And Genevieve, so tuning in with your higher self, let's just check to see, are you on the right career path? So I get the thumbs up from your higher self, and I actually see more light in the future coming. And for you, you actually have the ability to put yourself out there. You're a horizontal. You're supposed to be a star. You're supposed to be on stage or on a platform. You need to be able to communicate. But one of the things that I'm seeing for you is that your masculine is still trying to make something happen. And your masculine is not allowing the feminine to actually just flow the energy in that's going to allow things to come to you. Okay, so you're a horizontal, but your masculine's not meant to try to strive and put itself out there before it's time. Things will actually start coming to you with your feminine, and it will all flow together. Your masculine needs to be tamed a little bit. You've got to bring him down. So the suggestion of what to do with that is pull your masculine out and see him in front of you. It's as if, you know, you're a therapist and he's across the desk. And you've got to see why he thinks he has to make something happen. What's his belief? And start to shift. Do the work that you know to do to shift that belief within him, and then bring him back inside.
Okay. That's for Genevieve. Okay, so Kathy did respond. The resistance is my worth. Trusting in my income, the transition, and my wellness, really to do all that I feel is being asked of my higher self after working nights.
Okay, it's fine, because look, you are going to have another cracking open, and so it's not time quite yet. So don't try to rush that. And I know you want to, because I could feel you're doing something with your hands, right? That's what came through. So you're assisting and you're helping and you're supporting. But the thing is that your heart is not in there. It's not there. We know that now, right? We've established that. But you are going to have another cracking open from your higher self. So we look at that resistance now, and where you think you should be already, but there's an underlying unworthiness. That actually causes conflict within you. I already want to be there in the future, but I don't feel worthy enough to be there in the future. So there's an inner battle going on inside of you, right? The push and the pull. So we've got to have you do an integration on both aspects. The aspects that wants to jump ahead and be in the future and thinks she should already be there. And then the other one that doesn't think she's worthy enough. And really don't worry about the transition. When that whole cracking open happens in the heart space, that will be that time. But in the meantime, you've got to work on these two parts of you and get out of the battle, because you have to be relaxed. You have to just be okay doing the service that you're doing right now, and continuing to learn and to grow into what you're taking on, that transition work that you're going to be doing. Okay?
Okay. Genevieve says, thank you so much. She can feel it.
Oh, good. She's our star. I love seeing those stars coming out. That's really great.
Christel, so how we doing with time? Are you good?
I'm good.
You
yeah,
good? Okay.
I don't know how much more time I have because I can't see my calendar.
Oh yeah, because we do have some stuff happening later, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so Ray is back. Thank you, Ray, for coming back. You'll be able to listen to the replay, but did you have a question or did you want a reading done, Ray? Please let us know if you would. And earlier, Christel, you mentioned about the dormancy cycle. Can you read, because I feel like I'm in a dormancy cycle, but I also feel like I'm moving. So can you, what's my higher self want me to know about that?
Yeah, so being in the dormancy cycle, you can get a Vedic astrology reading to see exactly what degree of dormancy you're in. I mean, it's very accurate. But when we look at the dormancy cycle is for a purpose. It doesn't mean don't do anything. It actually means continue to do something, but what you're doing is not necessarily being out in the world. What you're doing is going deeper into yourself. You're going deeper into clearing the blockages, really getting clear on what mission you have, getting clear on what purpose. And sometimes seeing that you have to let go of a lot of attachments that you have, and a lot of the ego mind that's trying to, align itself with the, societal thinking of you have to push, you have to succeed, you have to get a house, you have to have this type of car, you have to have all these gadgets. That's not why we're here. And so there's this whole, experience that we're going through internally in the dormancy cycle. It's your time. Your higher self is saying, we're taking away everything so that you have time to get it together. And when you get it together, then you have that ability to gather yourself and then to move forward. And so that dormancy going into growth is almost hand in hand. When you get to the growth cycle, you actually have more clarity about your mission and you're growing towards that. Even if that growth and your clarity is, I still need to focus on clearing the blockages, but I know that I'm an intuitive being and I know that I have a unique mission and a purpose here. I know the universe wants to flow through me, and I know the universe wants to use me to create. And so that can be what you accept and what you rely on in that moment. And when you finally settle into in the acceptance of dormancy, and thank you very much. Remember when I said I had all that time and I was spending all that time, because that was my dormancy cycle. And so I spent a lot of time, just me and the divine, and I lost everything. I pretty much walked away. I mean, we had, cars and airplane and land and a house and, multiple locations. And I just said, I have to give you all of that, and I have to start from nothing. And I did, so we have to go through these dormancy cycles just like the seasons. The trees go through the dormancy cycle and they lose their leaves. We have to do the same thing.
That makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense. Okay, so I surrender. I surrender.
So keep doing these videos because they're awesome.
They are. They are. Okay, so it is 1:22 Eastern time. Okay. And so for those of you who would like to continue with us on this in this 3-part series of insights into you, do you know your intuitive gifts? Register so that you can, and subscribe to this page so that you can be alerted when we're going to be scheduling the next one. And also, I put the link in the chat so you can go and register and get the emails and all of that good stuff for the details for the next 2, okay? And we are also going to provide you with the special offer that Christel shared with you, okay? So you can go further and work with her because it's no coincidence you all showed up here today. Everybody that's here is supposed to be here, and we are so excited. So I wanted to make sure that you know how we can move forward. And if you already know you don't want to wait till the next one, you need to get on the ball right now. Just click that link, send me an email, send me a message on Twitter, Facebook. We have a Facebook page. Follow Christel, Divine Feminine Awakening on Facebook. She's Christel Hughes, on Twitter. She's Christel Hughes on Twitter, okay? And let her know you saw her on Blab. She won't forget this experience, okay? She'll know it was me. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, so Ray, I did want to give Ray a question because she was here earlier and had to go. And I asked her if she had a question. So she said, I'm just relaxing now. It's been a crazy morning, and I had to call the ambulance for my grandmother. So I'm a hot mess at the moment. So she did say, I said, you can ask a question in chat. So she said, I see shadows often, or people, family that have passed. How do I bring it out more? There are no coincidences, right?
Okay, got it. Yeah, so what we're looking at is the mediumship gate. So the way that I see all of, the clairs and the abilities in people is actually a gate that's, open, closed. It can be open to a certain degree. And for you, your mediumship gate opens and then it comes slamming shut. And then sometimes it'll open and come. So it's not consistent. And so we've got to see why is it not consistent, okay? So one of the things that I see is I actually see a protective mechanism that your higher self put in place. When we have an open mediumship gate, I have an open mediumship gate, and we have to put a gatekeeper there. Otherwise, your higher self will make sure that you get rest and you're not just open all the time. So for you, with it open, shut, we've got to see that there's a part of you that doesn't have the boundaries that you need, or know that you have the power to set boundaries with the energies and to communicate and connect in with them. So one of the first things you want to do is you want to assign one of your guides as the gatekeeper of your mediumship gate. So you get to choose. I want that gate to be, open all the way right now, or I want that gate to be closed. So you get to choose. You've got to know your power in setting up the context to relate with the spirits. And that's really why it's, it just happens every so often or every once in a while. So here's what you want to do. You got to have kind of a sit down with your guides or with your angels, whoever you want to put in charge of this, and let them know the context. So in other words, if I'm sitting down to connect with someone, like if you're in let's say doing a reading, or you're doing a session with someone and you want that mediumship gate open, then you have to let them know, okay, it's time, I want that mediumship gate open. I'm going to be doing a reading, okay? But if you are taking care and handling like stuff that you had to handle this morning, you don't want to have your mediumship gate open and deal with all that while you're having to deal with the practical stuff of life, right? So it's more about you taking the power and setting up the context for relating, rather than whether you have the ability to have that all the time or not, okay?
Okay, Jay. My daughter's running around. Sorry. Everything is like spot on, and I totally get what you guys are saying. And Christel, especially you, it's resonating.
Oh,
completely.
great.
I wanted you to see me instead of just sitting there like a lump.
Yeah, I didn't know. I was like,
it's me.
Yeah. So really about taking your power into your own hands as to how you're going to be able to channel, because everything is happening within your aura. It's not happening outside of your control. And most people don't know this, and that I'm getting ready to talk a little bit more about the empathic nature and do more of that work. But your aura is like your personal house, okay? You have that personal house around you all the time. And what comes in and what goes out actually is under your control. So again, this is about you taking the personal power and having the context set up and saying what's appropriate and what's not appropriate, and making sure that you set that up with your guides and your angels. Just let them know. And for me, what I do is with my mediumship gate, I have a guide at the front. My mediumship gate, the way that I visualize and see it, is the top part is open, the bottom part is closed.
Okay.
So
like a barn gate.
Yeah, I see my guide, and behind that I can see still who's standing there wanting to come in. And that gives me time to readjust my energy, or to say, yes, I will communicate with you, or no, I'm not going to communicate with you. I can't communicate with you. I got to go do this. And so in sessions when I'm reading, I will actually get that heads up, even if I'm talking to them about something else or doing an integration process with a persona. I can actually say, you know what? I see that your grandfather from your mom's side is showing up here and wanting to talk. And I actually even say, do you want me to invite him in? Because maybe they don't want that. You can't just assume because something shows up that you're going to bring that through. So most of the time they say yes. I don't think I've ever even had someone say no, but it's good to give people the option, because maybe they don't want to, So that's how you'll handle, okay? Yeah, good job though. Beautiful. Yeah. Aww.
Okay, good ice.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Oh, you're so welcome. My pleasure. It's hard to know when we are going through a transition and we have these abilities and people don't talk about them. It's really difficult to know, what are we supposed to be doing with all this information? And many times these things happen when we're really young. And so, for me, I remember my mom used to come in when I was sleeping at night, or when I would just wake up, or as I was getting up for the day, and she would sit on my bedside and she would look at me and she'd say, you've got fairies all in your hair, playing in your hair. And that gave me permission to actually believe in that world, right? And what I didn't know is that I came from a long line of psychics. My mom was psychic, my grandmothers were psychic, but they didn't talk about it. And, even my great-grandmother on my mom's side, she knew. She was out, putting up her laundry. And she knew that someone in her family had passed away in that moment. She went in, called, and said, what happened? And they said, well, he just passed. So she knew in that moment that she had these abilities. She had told other people, but it wasn't like it was actually openly talked about. But my mom gave me permission to talk about it. She gave me permission to bring that forward. Most people don't have that in their lifetime. And for me, because of all the chaos that was going on, growing up, I had 2 drug addict parents, and it was a crazy situation. So I had to put my intuition to the side. I actually had to, you know, basically say, I don't have time for you because I have to deal with life. But when it got to that point where I couldn't deny those gifts anymore, and I had to use my intuition to really save my own life.
Yep.
So my suggestion for you is to start to pay attention to this gift that you have and know that you can use that. You can use that to help a lot of other people. You can use that to generate income to support yourself, because that scans high for you, and not everybody has that ability in this lifetime to actually benefit or get that compensation for using their gifts. Okay, but you do. All right.
Oh, I'm back. Thank you, guys.
Hi, did you go somewhere?
Oh, y'all just don't know. But that's good. Yay.
Wow. I've just been talking and sharing.
Yes,
so.
very good. Very good.
So I have a story for you. The other night, I work nights. I work with the developmentally disabled adults. So the other night I'm driving home, and there's an elementary school that I passed, and it was like 5 after 1 in the morning. I see somebody with a camera taking pictures in front of the school, and I'm like, that's odd. What are you up to? Let it go. Drove on. A little while later, I passed a cop. In my ear, literally in my ear, I hear, see something, say something. I quick turned around, went to the cop, told him. He was so grateful and appreciative that I told him. I never heard anything about it, but that voice was just boom.
Yeah.
Turn around, lady.
Yeah. Yeah. See, that's your clairaudience ability. Okay. And so you're using your clairgnostic like you knew you had to do it. And so you had the clairaudient coming in, you knew you had to do it. And when you get that knowing, you get the feeling. Like you're not going to be able to go to sleep tonight unless you go back, turn back around and do it. And you use all of those senses. So I think, you know, for you, you might want to consider doing this work and reading for people, because I think you could really support a lot of people with your gifts.
All right, right.
Good to
You know
know.
what you need
Thank
to
you.
do.
Okay. Yeah.
I got to get on the ball now.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. So follow that link and register so you can stay connected and connecting with Crystal. Yes.
Definitely will. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you so much.
You're
It's
so
nice
welcome.
meeting you.
You too. You too. Have a beautiful day.
Thank you. You too. Okay, Crystal.
Okay. Uh-oh, where did you go?
Okay.
Are you off again?
There
Are
we
you
go.
coming back?
There we go.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Crystal, for everything that you poured into us and giving from your overflow. I'm so grateful.
Oh, absolutely. So fun. And I mean, thank you for getting me out of my comfort zone where I'm used to being behind a phone. And, you know, this really supports me as well. But I just want to say to everyone, you know, really pay attention. If you have that energy trying to take you out and pull you to the side, it usually comes through as, you know, excuses, distractions. You know, bring yourself back around. Really stand up for yourself, just like you would stand up for your child or stand up for anyone else. Take a stand for you. It's really time for you to not buy into those excuses, okay? So I want everyone, if we can, just all of us to commit to another level of dedication to ourselves, becoming that higher self. And, you know, we're going to talk. We'll be back in another week, and I want you to share, if you can share with me some of the experiences because you took a stand for yourself instead of buying into the excuse. And that's down to everything. If your hand's about to go into that cookie jar, I want you to snap yourself and go, wait a second, what did Crystal say? And don't do it if you know that that's not something that's going to bring you more energy and vitality. And I think with all of us doing this as a collective, you're going to see that your intuition is right to not do that, because maybe energetically that drained you more than feeding you. And now you can have that energy to channel your truth, to bring your true self forward. And what are you actually going to be bringing forward in that moment? You're going to be bringing forward a cleaner channel, one that's congruent, authentic, and sticking to your truth brings you vitality. Okay, so I want you to live in your truth this week, and I want to hear a little bit about that if you feel like you want to share it next time, or if you have a story with us. Okay, so yeah.
Thank you.
Right.
Yes, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Okay.
All right.
Well, thank you so much. Blessings, blessings, blessings all around. Thank you, thank you, thank you for letting me share and be here with you all today.
Yes, thank you. All right, take care, everyone, and we'll see you next week.
Okay,
all right,
bye.
Bye. Okay.